So today we're going to do 3.6 from Blitzer's college mathematics books. We want to talk about negations of conditional statements and how that relates to DeMorgan's Law. Okay, so of course we always want to start with our objectives, and so we're going to write the negation of a conditional statement. That'll be our first example. Then we're going to define and then use DeMorgan's laws in a couple of examples. Okay, so for the negation of a conditional statement, remember the conditional statement is P implies Q. Alright, and so the negation of that is P and not Q. Alright, so the negation of the conditional statement is P and not Q. Alright, and that makes this happen. It's pretty straightforward. Alright, so what we want to do is write the negation of a conditional statement. So if too much homework is given, and so of course the too much homework is given is our P. A class should not be taken. The comma is going to give us the then there, and so a class should not be taken is going to be our Q, and so this is going to be P implies not Q. Okay, so a class should be taken, not taken gives us the not Q there. Alright, so how do we want to write the negation of P and not Q? Well, remember, we're going to take P implies Q to be P and not Q, but here we already have the not Q, so I need to take the negation of that. So that's going to give us P and Q, the opposite truth table, right? So if I have Q, I want the opposite truth value of not Q. So if I have not Q, I want the opposite truth value of is Q. And so the translation then of P and Q, if P is too much homework is given, so too much homework is given, and Q is a class should not be taken, right? So we want to have a class should not be taken. Alright, so that takes care of that example. So now we want to have just a short summary of our conditional statements. The contrapositive P implies Q is equivalent to not Q implies not P, the contrapositive. So P implies not Q is the equivalent of Q implies not P, the converse, and P implies Q is not the equivalent to not P implies not Q, the inverse. So this is just a review, okay? This is a review of our earlier videos right here, okay? Where the contrapositive is the equivalent statement, and then the converse and the inverse are equivalent statements, but not equivalent to the conditional and the contrapositive, right? These guys stand on their own, and the conditional statement and the contrapositive, they stand on their own. So it's just a little review right there. Review. Oh, sorry. Okay, so that brings us to DeMorgan's Law. Alright, so remember that's objective number 2. We want to be able to use DeMorgan's laws. So for DeMorgan's laws, we have not P and Q is equivalent to not P or not Q, and not P or Q is the same thing as not P and not Q. So you'll see there's sort of an application of the negation to both statements, okay? And then there's a reversal of the conditional, the and to the or, and the or to the and, okay? So we're going to apply the negation to each individual statement, and we're going to change the conditional from an and to an or an or to an and, okay? Pretty straightforward. DeMorgan's laws. So this is just sort of a restatement of that. All right. So you just maybe want to take a look at that in your book. Okay. But let's get to the examples, the heart of the matter. All right. Example number 4, we want to negate our conjunctions and disjunctions. Remember, conjunction is just a fancy word for and the disjunction is just our fancy logical word for or. So, okay. So, all students do laundry on weekends, and I do not, right? So you have all students do laundry, and I do not. We need to negate all students do laundry. Alright, what's the negation of all? Some students do laundry on weekends. So that's the reversal of that. I'm going to switch colors here. The and is going to get switched to an or I do not is going to be negated, right? So I need the negation of I do not, and that should be I do. Alright, so some students do laundry on the weekends, or I do. Okay? So that's the negation. I guess it has the same meaning, right? Because these are equivalent statements. So some students do laundry, or I do laundry, is equivalent to all students do laundry on weekends, and I do not. So I'm guessing he's not a student, right? And so last but certainly not least, some college professors are entertaining lecturers. So this is one of our statements right here, and we want to negate some. Remember, the negation of some is going to be no college professors are entertaining lecturers. I hope that's not true. I hope you are a little bit entertained by my lectures. So that gives us a minute to write it. Now, of course, the or is going to get changed. Must be changed to an and. I'm bored. So here's the I'm bored. So the negation of I am bored is I am not bored. Okay? And so that's going to be the negation there. Alright? So this concludes our video, a nice short one. And that makes us happy. The last lecture in the series is going to be 3.7, so go on to that one now.